Hey everyone, this is BROfessor and Friends, and we are live, and we're going to try to get this done. What's this? Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. Happy Taco Tuesday. But I am here with a group of amazing misfits. And let me tell you, we have had a very interesting the last 30 minutes because I don't know if y'all know about this, but the internet is a crazy thing. And getting everybody, this is the most people we've ever had on the show, getting 6 people's internet to collide all in one space to come to you is mind boggling for all of us. But we are here. We may be frozen at times. We may be black at times. We may disappear at times. But we're going to come back and we're going to finish this show, I promise. But I have with me tonight the men behind the scenes of Natural State Overland. Guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having us.
We have with us Joe and Todd, Brad, all the way from Mississippi, Rick and Nikki, and Randy from Northwest Arkansas. Man, thank y'all for being here. This is going to be a very special time. Very special time. I am excited that y'all are here because we've got Rendezvous in the Ozarks coming up pretty soon, and I know there are a lot of people excited about that because that is the go-to show for Arkansas. So if y'all would, right off the bat, if you would share with us, Joe, let's start with you, and then we'll go around the room. This is kind of like a group therapy here. So we'll go around the room and everybody share with us who you are and what your role is with Natural State.
Well, I'm Joe Austin. The past 4, I have, I guess, kind of been the marketing guy, taking lots of pictures, running around the trails, getting stuff online, that sort of thing. And this year, Randy has, I raised my hand and said I want to do some more. And Randy, he hung the education piece on me. So now I'm going to wrangle all the folks who are giving presentations and making sure everybody's at the right spots, the right time for to see all the classes that we're going to offer.
Awesome. Brad, how about you?
My name's Brad. I'm from Oxford, Mississippi. Originally born and partially raised in Russellville. So it's right up the road from where Rendezvous is held every year. I'm doing vendor management and pretty much anything that has to do with vendors on site. That's me. Whether they need something because something failed, or they forgot something, or if they just need any kind of direction for them to go to. So vendors is what I do.
Excellent. Todd.
Hi, my name's Todd. Randy had the vision to put me in charge of trails. I coordinate all the guided trails that run together on that weekend. We run, I think, 5 different guided trails at different times over Thursday and Saturday. And this year, Randy decided I need to be at a stationary place so people can come and ask me how to get lost in the woods. So I'm going to actually have my own booth of telling people where to go in the Ozarks. So if you got any questions, come see me.
Excellent. Rick.
Hi.
Hi.
Mouth of the South.
If anybody is on here and does not know who Rick is, if you've been to Rendezvous and does not know who Rick is, you missed out or drank way too much. I don't know what your problem is, but you have definitely seen Rick there. So come on with it, Rick.
Drinking that heavily, I would have put it. No, I'm over the emceeing the whole event. We do the big door prize giveaway there on Saturday night. Pretty excited this year because we moved it up on the dates, and as far as Thursday, Friday, Saturday instead of having a Sunday night. So really excited. But Rick England, Northwest Arkansas, Winslow area, I hang out with her a lot, and she's going to introduce herself now.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm Nikki England, and I am the registration control freak. And kind of whatever Randy needs, I try to help out. But anything registration, check-in, information, that's what I do.
Excellent. And the Grand Poobah, Randy, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role in Natural State Overland.
The Godfather.
Yeah, Randy Pat. My role basically is I was the crazy one that got this whole thing started, I guess. And so anymore, it's more of a coordination role kind of thing because these guys do a great job. So I couldn't do it without them. And it's definitely a team effort.
Excellent. Well, that's good. Well, I want to tell you again, thank you all for being here. You all mean the world to us because what you do for the state of Arkansas is admirable, and we are extremely thankful. I want to share with you right now, these guys have graciously decided to donate a registration for the people that are watching tonight. Isn't that right? Is that right?
That's
I
right.
want to make sure that's right. Okay. I want to make
That's
sure that's right before I give away this something that's not mine. But everybody who's watching tonight, if you go and share this show, make sure and comment that you have shared the show. But every time you share the show, we're going to put your name in a hat and draw that out at near the end of the show. We're going to stop that at 7:30. So between now and 7:30, if you will share that show, share the show from the Overland Philosopher Facebook page and comment on here that you have shared the show. My wife, who is backstage in the black room, she's going to write all those names down, and we're going to draw your name, and hopefully you will win a free trip to Rendezvous in the Ozarks. So with that being said, we got more people jumping on here, lots of people watching live. I think this is very cool because a lot of people don't know the history behind this. They've just started coming. The numbers have doubled almost every year. And so a lot of people don't know the history behind how Natural State started and how the Rendezvous started. So share with us, Randy, how in the world did you dream this up and get this going? What started all that?
Well, I was kind of late to the off-road party, I guess you could say. I didn't get a Jeep until 2008 when the four doors came out. Actually, they came out in 2007, but I got mine in 08. Because it was a four-door, I kind of justified it as a family vehicle and didn't really think I'd do much else with it. But I had it about 2 months and had to start looking up off-road clubs in the area. And so in 2009 or in 2008, I joined Christian Crawler's 4x4 Club up here in Northwest Arkansas. And then the next year, they voted me in as president. So I had a run at president for that club for a while. In 2010, I organized was the biggest event I had done to date, an event called Crawl for Christ that we did up at S'more, Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch. We had just a little over 100 vehicles at that event and thought that was great. Then in 2011, I participated in, I guess, my first 3-day overland trip, kind of introduction to overland travel. And at the time, there was an organization called Central Overland, located in the Conway area. Wes Craiglow actually started that organization. and led some trips for a couple of years there. And I was sold after the first trip. It was just, rock crawling was kind of my background up until that point. It was just a lot more relaxing. I tell folks the campfire is the best part of the trip, and for me. So yeah, from there in 2012, I actually led my first 3-day trip in the Ozarks for some folks, trying to introduce other folks to doing this kind of thing. And then in 2014, I actually attended Overland Expo West, and so that's probably what put the bug in my mind at that point. I just thought it was a great event. Had to drive way too far for it. Felt like the central U.S. Needed something like that, but didn't really do anything about it for a couple of years. Ended up buying my second Jeep in not too far long after that, and then got the idea for Natural State Overland at that point. And in February of 2017, we actually started the Natural State Overland Facebook page with the intent of using that organization to organize an event every year and to introduce folks to the Ozarks and the Ouachitas in Arkansas, and to promote Tread Lightly. That was kind of the reason we started it, I guess.
Excellent. And how did you end up with such a amazing plethora group of interesting, I can't think of any more adjectives for all of our friends right on here. How'd you end up with such a great group surrounding you to help put all these on? Handpicked, I'm sure.
Yep. Well, these folks were all folks that I'd wheeled with up until that point. We had gotten to where we were going out quite a bit together. And really, when I had the idea of trying to do kind of an expo style event, around the campfire one night, I said, "Hey guys, I got this crazy idea, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?" And everybody was going, "Oh yeah, I don't know," And we talked about it, and I said, "Well, I've got to have all of y'all on board, or I can't do it. I mean, I can't do this thing on my own, and I need some help. You're not going to get paid for it. It's gonna, it's gonna be a volunteer kind of thing." And I couldn't talk them out of it. So.
That's awesome. That's very cool, and amazing things come out of campfire conversations, and I know this was definitely one of them. One of you, Brad, tell me how has Natural State evolved? Has it been like you thought it would, or is it grown into something you never dreamed it would?
It's funny you asked that. I think at some point in time, each and every one of us has had a different idea of what Natural State was going to be and what we wanted it to be. Of course, we've always followed Randy's lead for sure. I think that it's everything I've wanted it to be from the beginning. I would like to see it be even more. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to sit back and see, what the market will allow. And I don't think we're there yet. So I'm looking forward to many, many years of doing Natural State Overland and Rendezvous in the Ozarks. And I think it's going to continue to grow. I think this is something that is needed in the central part of the United States. I know everybody loves to go to Overland Expo East and West, but, that's a long ways for people that are in the central part of the United States. And, if we can fill a niche in that respect where they don't have to drive, 16 hours or however far it would be, they might could only come a few hours and get some of the same vendors, some of the same training that's offered at these expos that are much, much larger than what we have. I mean, we have CFP come to our event just like Overland Expo East and West does. We have vendors come to our event that are on their way back sometime from Overland. So, we offer quite a bit for what we have right in the central part of the United States.
I agree. Anybody got anything to add to that? Don't know, talking once.
I will say every year after the event, we kind of sit down and, and talk about what went right, what went wrong. And every year I get the question, well, how big do you want it to get?
That is a good question.
I say, I think I'll know it when I see it, but I don't know that we're there yet. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I think it is a great thing that you all have gotten together and have started this. And I want to get down into talking about the Rendezvous a little bit more. But before we do that in your individual parts, because I know you're all going to have something to add to there. But before we do that, let's pause just a minute to thank our sponsors for the show and for station identification.
Hey guys, it's Chris from More Expo.
Aaron with Switchback Outdoor Safe. I know from Rhino Belt Rod and Custom.
Hey,
Jeff with Bad Act Adventure Co. Where am I from Overland Pioneer?
I'm Chef West.
hey,
It's Adam at Step 22 Gear.
Jordan from Anderson Overland.
Walker from Autotronics in West Virginia.
Hey, this is Aaron from Artemis.
Hi, I'm Tyler with Yoda Adventure.
And you're watching.
And you're listening and watching.
You're listening to.
You're watching
the BROfessor and
Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
BROfessor and Friends.
Enjoy.
Sponsored by More Expo, April 8th through the 10th, 2022. Linson Solar. U.S. Action Tracks. Big Iron Overland Rally. Artemis Overland Hardware in Springfield, Missouri. Blue Cell Coffee Roasters and Long Creek Overland Apparel. Thank you for sponsoring our show.
So take me back to 2017. What made you think that people would show up to something like Rendezvous?
Getting back from Expo West and just honestly seeing all the Overland related Facebook pages popping up in this area, Texas, the surrounding states. I just started seeing those type of Facebook pages popping up. And, I'd already kind of thought that I wanted to try this. And I felt like at the time, if I didn't pull the trigger then, I may have missed the boat. So honestly, that's what drove it. I saw an interest there that I felt like we could meet. And we decided to just jump in there and try it. And, we kind of set a goal of 50 rigs that first year, and we ended up with 140, I believe it was. So, or 160. So
which is incredible for a first time, in my opinion. That's incredible for a first time, anything going on. And anybody that's into overlanding or outdoor camping or whatever it encompasses knows that overlanding is the going thing now. I mean, it is extremely, overwhelmingly popular. If you don't think it's popular, go to an overlanding store and look at the prices on all the stuff. It's because people are going to pay it because they want it. They want the rooftop tents. They want the trailers. They want all this other stuff because it's the going thing. And so in that 2017 to now, here we are, 2021. You've got in the Natural State Overland group almost 11,000 members in that group. That after I looked today, I think it was 10,000 and some change. That's incredible for just something being in one state. That's incredible. There's nothing else out there. There's no camping groups. There's no motorcycle groups. There's nothing else out there like that has anywhere close to that membership. And it is really taken off. I want to remind everybody now, if you share the show, make sure that you comment that you shared the show. My wife is on top of that, and she's getting on you about doing that. So make sure you go to the Overland Philosopher Facebook page and hit that share button and share it, and then comment that you shared. And this is awesome. Lisa said that I shared, but I don't need a free registration. I love that. We are excited that you're coming. You probably already registered, because I know you've got a whole bunch registered. We're not going to share that number with everybody right now, though. But
Lisa's one of our very faithful volunteers at the event too. So y'all
I love it.
Helping us out. Really appreciate her and Justin their help.
That's awesome. And Mike says, having 3 million acres of public land forest is another thing that we're blessed to have in the state of Arkansas. So, a lot of people that live in other states know that we are blessed to have that. A lot of times we take that for granted. But to have 2 national forests in our state and have that much land where we can explore is a blessing. If you go out to other states and look for a place to camp, you might have a little bit of trouble, but not in Arkansas. We have a lot of places to camp, so it's going to be a big deal here. Now, take me back to that 2017. How did that go? How did the very first rendezvous go? Was it what you expected? I heard there was a storm that blew through that night. Everybody talked about it. Some people packed up and left. Some people rode it out. Great stories that are shared from that.
Yeah, we really didn't know what to expect. Like you said, we ended up with more folks than we kind of anticipated. Yeah, there was a storm on, I believe it was Saturday night, that blew through. Tornado warnings were out. So some folks decided to pick up camp and take off. The storm actually blew through about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. Several of us were in Rick and Nikki's horse trailer that night instead of tents, and it got blown around a little bit as well. And so I will say, the night before the event is the first sleepless night I've ever had in my life. So I did not sleep a bit that night, trying to figure everything out in my head. Of course, that was probably too late to figure out. But.
Yeah. Rick, what do you think was one of the things that made Rendezvous such a success, being that first time that year?
I think a lot of the people were locals. We brought in a lot of area people. We had all the vendors there that were great, and it was something new, but it was also something that everybody was already doing. It wasn't called overlanding, and we had the vendors there to support us and to show you new product, and it's something that we try to just keep adding every year to. But that first year was crucial to us but I think it's the amount of people that showed up. It told us right then, hey, this is what we were looking for. This is what everybody in the area is wanting.
Right.
In the north or the central United States. And so by having that head count the first year, literally the only social media we did was Facebook and just share and like and word of mouth. It wasn't anything big. Even to date, we've not really spent much on advertising. So to grow like it has and like it does, it's just testimony to it's what the people are wanting and what they're looking for.
You're right. Does anybody have anything to add to that? Who was there? Maybe saw, and you answered my next question, because my next question was going to be, what made you, at what point did you realize we need to have this again? We need to have this. This needs to be a yearly thing because people want this.
I think the people there let us know. They reached out to us and said, "Man, this is great. This is awesome." The guided trail runs that we do, Todd does awesome job with that, and Joe's helped a lot with that in the past as well, and they appreciate that. I think we could probably have 2,000 guided trail runs, and they'd fill up in a week. It's just not feasible.
Yeah. That's true. People are hungry for that,
something that anybody else offers a lot of. So.
That's true. And Jonathan Muncie, Long Creek Overland, one of your vendors. I love it when the vendors and the sponsors of the show actually watch the show. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Muncie. We appreciate you being here. But he talks about the location, and the very first rendezvous was not at the current location. What made you want to? Oh, we got a shout out right there. Got a shout out for Long Creek. What caused you to want to change the location?
Well, we just wanted to change. We just wanted a different venue for the second year. I guess it was really what it ended up being. And I had wheeled at Birds before and knew of Birds, and I think there was some scheduling conflict the first year or something. And so we decided to move it down to Birds in 2018.
Okay, so
I will say after that first event, my initial goal was to have 2 events a year, one spring and one fall. But after that first event and still having a full-time job, I decided that there's no way we do two events.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just stuck with the fall.
Well, and you do 2 events. The bonfire is held in the spring, and it seems like every year it rains on the wood, but we still get the wood lit somehow. This year I camped in the middle of a giant lake bird after the Friday night rain. It was great, but that made the trail so much more fun. It wasn't dusty. It was great mud holes everywhere. It was just a super time. So make sure that you I know everybody's planning for Rendezvous, but make sure you put it on your calendar to look for the bonfire in the spring as well. So year after year, this takes place. So how do you gather out around the campfire just like you did that very first time and talk about what's happened and talk about things that are changed for the next year? How does that process work behind the scenes?
I'll start and then I'll let these guys jump in. We do a lot of our campfire time is spent with rendezvous discussions. It seems like this event has caused us not to be able to get out as much, I feel like, as we used to, and so that's one thing that I want to work on this next year. But and then we do starting in probably January, we start conference calls with everybody. So we're all on a Teams call. We try to keep those calls to about an hour, but they usually take about 2 hours. They start out, once every month and then work up to weekly, which is where we're at.
3
now.
hours, Brad says. I'm sorry, Rick says.
Yeah. So, I'll let somebody else comment on our calls because they can be long.
The funny thing about it is
I let the guys talk about because then it turns into Jeep talk or off, big. So
I just can't see these guys chasing any rabbits. I don't know what you're talking about, but I just really don't think there's any rabbit chasing going on with this crew.
Squirrels.
Okay, shooting squirrels. Well, I understand that. So, how has Rendezvous changed over the years? Give us some major points and how it's changed from that very first one. What have you added? What have you taken away? What did you not like? What did you like? So, give us a little bit about what goes into the thought process of how this is put together and how it's changed over the years.
Well, it hadn't changed a lot, I don't think. We kind of started out wanting to do classes and some training kind of stuff. Of course, that has grown like all of it has. We wanted our vendors there so folks could actually see and touch the product. So much of it's online anymore, and depending on where you live, it's hard to actually see it. So, and we wanted to do guided trails. We are limited by what we can do on guided trails just by personnel and by, and by the trails themselves. In a lot of cases, we have to be permitted for that. We have to get insurance for that. Mm-hmm. So it's always kind of been those three. The raffle or We don't call it a raffle. We call it door prize because we don't sell raffle tickets. Everybody gets one ticket. Every driver gets one ticket. So everybody has the same chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
And that has grown. The first couple of years, we got donations as well as on-site vendors. Some people that couldn't be there, but that would send product. That quickly got to be a nightmare, just trying to store some of that stuff until we got there. And thankfully, our vendor numbers got up, and now pretty much the door prizes are strictly sponsored by donations for the vendors that are on site. And so I can't say enough about the vendors we have show up, and their generosity is amazing. Last year, I think we gave away over $38,000 worth of product.
Wow.
And that's all through their generosity. So
that's amazing. That is amazing. Well, I have your very first video that you posted on YouTube. This is entitled Rendezvous 2018. So if you haven't seen this, I want to show this video, and then I want to show the one from last year here in just a minute, and you can notice just a few changes. Check this out. This is the first. Now, I love that because it shows a little bit of all of it. It showed a little bit of the vendors. It showed a little bit of Rick on stage. It showed a little bit of running the trails and the rigs that were there. But comparatively, 18 to 2020 in 2 years, what was the difference in numbers of people that attended?
Yeah, in 18 we had right at 300, and last year we had just over 600. So
it doubled in that amount of time, and you had to move areas from the vendor area. You had to move the vendor area because you completely ran out of room. And I know that hurt you in one way where you didn't have the stage that was already set up and the bathrooms that were there and all that other stuff. But getting everybody so spread out and giving them that much more room, to me, made it that much more enjoyable to have that room, because when everybody came on that last day for the giveaways, they filled up that whole bear. When you come on a Saturday, you come out there on Friday morning or Saturday morning to walk through the vendors, and you're there with just a few people, but when everybody showed up for the giveaways, it was like a sea of people just everywhere. Because the cool thing about this event is not everybody's in the same place at the same time. Everybody's spread out. Some are running the trail. Some are going to the vendors. Some are hanging out and seeing people that they haven't seen in a year. And it's almost like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It is a time where we get together and visit with those friends and, just spend time together and get to do the things that we love to do and hang out with people and meet new people that like the same things that we do. And I think that's where you have something very special here, is you have almost like a family reunion for outdoor people. And hanging around the campfires at night, just walking through the different campsites is a breath of fresh air. Because in 2020, I don't know if anybody knows this, but we had a pandemic hit. Everything began to shut down. Everything, they shut down cities. They shut down states. You couldn't find a place to eat. You couldn't find any bread and milk at Walmart. You couldn't find anything. More Expo comes along, and that's the only thing that happens throughout the year until Rendezvous hits, because everything else was canceled. Everything that I had planned to go to the whole year was canceled. And then I just want to say, from the bottom of our hearts, everybody in Arkansas and the surrounding, let's see, there was 1,000 people, 600 rigs in 24 states out there that want to thank you for not canceling Rendezvous last year.
Yeah,
now,
Joey, at that point, Joey, we were the largest outdoor event in the entire state of Arkansas.
I believe it. I believe it.
Well, we had said from the start that as long as Arkansas would let us do it, we would try to do it. And we did have to go through a permitting process with the health department to be able to do that event. But yeah, we appreciate everybody coming out. I think everybody was ready to get out.
Yeah, I guarantee you, everybody was ready to get out, and you could tell when you came. I even remember. Was it Dometic that got up there and said, we got all this stuff to give away because we weren't able to go to anything this year. And they were so excited just to be able to go to anything, because all the expos were canceled except for more. And, that was just a special time, especially last year. It was a breath of fresh air, a time where people were dying to go to something. And, I really appreciate, and everybody really appreciates y'all sticking to it and making sure that happened. So we have talked about, let's see, what time is it? All right, 7:37. My wife is getting together the giveaway thing. So that we're putting an end to that right now. But we hope we're able to give away something, because we want people to come to this event, because I promise you, come once and you'll come every year. So we've talked about the Rendezvous in the past. We talked about the history of Natural State. Let's talk about this year. What people can expect to see at Rendezvous 2021. Tell us about the vendors that are going to be there. Who's in charge of vendors? I can't remember.
That would be me. So you were showing the video a while ago of 2018. I thought it was pretty cool that Backwoods Adventure Mod was the vendor that was, I guess, primarily known in that video. And believe it or not, they are one of only 2 vendors that have been to all 5 events, and say all 5 meaning they're signed up to be there again this year. Backwoods Adventure Mods and Adventure Motors are the 2 vendors that we've had at this point that have attended all 5 years. We've had a few vendors that, attended 1 or 2 events. The cool thing, about Rendezvous and Ozarks is every year that you go, you're not going to see the same vendors. You're going to see 1 or 2 of the same vendors, or maybe 5 or 6. However, depending on what year, this year, we have 10 new vendors. We went from 13 vendors the first year, right at 36, 37, and we're still adding a couple. We got a couple that have said that they're going to join, but they just hadn't signed up yet. So, we've got a ton of vendors. I'd say about 17 vendors that have been there in the past. They've been there for 2 years, and that's vendors that are coming back this year. So, just because you've been to Rendezvous and seen the vendors we had that year doesn't necessarily mean that you've seen all the vendors. And I can promise you, it's going to be a whole different set of vendors pretty much, because, like I said, we out of the 37, 38 vendors we have now, only 2 have been there all 5 times, and most have only been there 2 times at the most, counting this year. So, depending on what year you came, it's growing, it's moving on, and maybe one day we'll get more repeats and end up with 50 or 60 vendors, and we can get them all to show up at the same time.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to it, because, like I said, we've got lots of new vendors. Right at half of the vendors have never been there before, and of the other half, 2 of them have been there the whole time. It's going to be a good year.
That's awesome. Well, even if a vendor has been there before, there's always something new.
Absolutely, new products, I love the T-shirt vendors and stuff that come because everybody loves T-shirts and swag, and you never know what they're going to have. There's always going to be a light, a new tent, a new bracket, a new mod, or something that somebody offers that you've never seen before. And a lot of people ask me, why do you want the vendors there? What benefit does it serve to the participant? And for me, before I went out and bought a tent, I wanted to go out and look and see, what tents are available. Well, I live in Mississippi. No one sells tents anywhere near me. So to be able to go to one location and see 5 vendors that have 5 different kinds of rooftop tents that I can actually lay in or put my eyeballs on, touch them, that brings value. Then you can decide, hey, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. You can also go around and look at the participants and see what they're running and find, another 15 different brands that you can look at and put your hands on.
That's
so
awesome.
all kinds of new things and new things that you can glean from attending the event.
That's awesome. Yeah, Jonathan with Long Creek says they started out last year with 4 designs, and this year they'll have over 40. So I guarantee you will not have seen all that they have to offer. So that's really cool, and everybody always has new gear coming out. So just go there, and I'm the same way. Before I buy anything, I want to touch it, and this is the best place in the area, in the 15-state circle, to go and be able to do this. All the stores that are in the area are going to be there. And so they will have all their biggest and best things. If you have wanted something, this is the place to go and see it. And so I really want to, and Rick says, I want to hear Todd talk. Well, we're going to let Todd talk. Todd's been sitting there just eyeing us. So Todd, tell us what you have in store for Rendezvous this year.
Well, nothing really new. The trails really changing. I want to touch on something that Rick said earlier. What's unique about the Rendezvous, I think, one of the unique things about the Rendezvous is the trail guided portion of the Rendezvous. There's people out there that have got a 4-wheel drive and they think they want to go, in the woods and check out, the trails and camp and that kind of thing, but they don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin. They don't have the confidence to get out there and do that. And I was the same way. I bought my Land Cruiser. It was triple locked. I was like, I wonder how good it is on the trails. I didn't know squat about going off road. Nothing. And Central Overland, like Randy was talking about, and they used to post up trips on there. And if you weren't on the site at the time they posted up, they filled up really, really quick. And after that one that I went on, like Randy, I was sold. And I followed that site religiously because I still didn't feel that comfortable going out on my own. But I met tons more through Central Overland or just overlanding in general. This year I'm going to have a central location to answer questions. I don't know everything about the trails around there. We're going to run them before the Rendezvous to make sure they're open and nothing's changed, because last year is not the trail that you can run this year. With rain and erosion and trees falling and things like that, they can change immensely from year to year. So, in the guided trail part, which, by the way, I want to say, you see us out there coordinate this kind of stuff, but there's no way we could do this without our volunteers. We've got a core group of volunteers that, oddly enough, we have all met at the Rendezvous. They've been at the Rendezvous. They've come up. They've asked to help. They think that we probably needed the help after the first year. And we couldn't do anything without these guys. And I'd like to name every one of them, but I'm afraid I don't want to make sure. I will make sure I'm trying to. Just between the volunteers and us, that's the only way it can get done. But anyway, we'll have some guided trails, and we can we don't want to wear our volunteers out. They're there to have a good time too. They're not getting paid for it. We don't want to, monopolize all their time, send them, but the guided trails portion will give someone an idea that they don't have the confidence to go out and run trails. They'll be able to come, follow, see what it's all about, and see if it's for them or not. And there's I can say, man, that was awesome. I can't wait to do it again. And they meet people at the rendezvous that might be in their area, and then they get together and they make rounds. And I want to mention a big supporter of using the MUM and running the trails right. And it's snowballed, and it's really fun to see. It really is.
That's awesome. Well, we have a celebrity in the house. Ryan Hitchcock from CB Adventure Supply is in the house. Thank you for joining us, Ryan. He just unveiled his new Toyota Tacoma and his turtleback trailer that are both wrapped and in his colors. It is amazing, and I guarantee you'll want to see this. This setup is unreal cool. Rick says, now, never mind. Okay. What's going on with classes this year? What can we expect to see in classes?
Joey, we have a ton of stuff. Randy has wrangled a lineup that's just killer this year. As I'm sitting here I'm looking at the list. There's so much I can't even remember it all. So we've got stuff for adventure riders, the two-wheel crowd. Got stuff for them. We've got stuff for overlanding one-on-one. Hey, I just bought my first Jeep, Grand Cherokee, whatever. I don't even know how to put it in four-wheel drive. That's the class for you. We've got 7P coming out to teach advanced recovery techniques. We've got videography. We've got safety and security while traveling, and that's always a big deal. Wilderness medicine, cooking, vehicle safety, intro to fly fishing. Some of these folks, we just use our four-wheel drive to get to our favorite hunting spot. That kind of thing. Dutch oven cooking, make kid stuff, we're always family friendly, bring the kids, we have kids activities going on. Gaia navigation, Matt McClellan always does a great job with that. And I'll get MVU map explained, and then emergency trauma care. And kind of stuff, there's even more than that. I'm just hitting the list of what I'm looking at right here. So we probably got a little bit for everybody. Water crossing, the good old high water mark trail that everybody's heard about. You better know how to cross one of those creeks before you just hit the gas pedal and go for it. So we got a full class for everything.
Awesome. So for the people who have never been before, do they have to pre-register? Do they show up? How will they know when the classes are going on, the schedule, and things like that?
We do have a schedule posted up. The classes, I believe, Randy, and correct me if I'm wrong, they do have a set number. I don't know if you ever been to show up because we're just going to physically run out of room. But Randy, you want to add to that?
I'll just say, you don't have to sign up ahead of time. For the most part, we've got enough classes that kind of spreads everybody out, I think. So we haven't had an issue there. We did post schedules on our Facebook page, Natural State Overland page, and on the Rendezvous page this last week. And I would encourage everybody to get, if you hadn't got the phone app yet, really that's your best tool at the Rendezvous. Everything's on your phone. The schedule's there. You can actually make your own schedule if you want to go ahead and sit down and say, okay, I want to do this, and make your own schedule on there if you want to. So a lot of information on there. And I encourage folks to download that app because we will have the schedule posted at the check-in booth, and we encourage folks as they check in to take a picture of the schedule when they come through. But really, having it on your phone is invaluable.
That is true. Well, Lisa wants to know, what's the food situation? Will you have food trucks or just the restaurant?
We will have Birds has bought a brand new food trailer, a huge 30-foot trailer that they'll be serving out of in the vendor area. They'll be located about where they were last year, but they'll be in a fully equipped trailer this year. And so we'll have that, and the restaurant will be open as well.
Awesome.
Funnel cakes will be available.
Do what?
Funnel cakes will be available.
That's right. That's right. Pam told me that she will be making funnel cakes this year out of the trailer.
It's going to be like the fair, like the county fair. I love it. I love it. Oh, what about camping? Will it be spread out like it was last year? Any new areas, or pretty much the same as it's always been?
Yeah, the two main areas, the one being out, off the river in the back, past the restrooms and stuff, by the airfield, and then the big what we call overflow area, or area A, up front, just to the west of the vendor area, I guess, which is huge. All that field will be mowed. In fact, they were baling hay there this last weekend while I was out there. And so it'll all be mowed. Last year, we didn't even come close to starting to fill up that area. So encourage folks. I think some folks thought that they couldn't camp out there last year, and it's all open for primitive camping. I will say a couple of things that we ask folks cooperation with when they get out in the grassy area. You can put up a rock ring, but don't dig any holes. That out there, some people like to cook that way, or for whatever reason. But we're asking folks not to dig any holes out there. That is a hay field, and gets mowed, and holes make it difficult, I guess. So they've asked us to do that. And I would say if you have a way of keeping your fire up off the ground, I'd encourage you to bring it. It's not required, but it would really help if you did that. So
very cool.
Also, keep in mind that there's a family area and what we call a night owl area. So before you set camp, make sure you check the map and make sure you're in the place you want to be, in case you want to get a little earlier turn in than some of the other folks.
Yeah, if you're anywhere near the blue line, guys, you're going to be up a long time. Man, I think it was 2019, the year that it rained the whole stinking time that we were there. I don't think blue line guys went to bed ever. They were up all night, every night. I don't know how they do that. I guess they're just used to working long hours. But that's really cool. How you've got it all set up, and how everybody's divided into the night owl and the other things like that. Everybody is excited. People are commenting on here. Nathan wants to know, are you maybe any live music? Looks like Joe could bring a guitar. Rick can rock the mic.
There's been rumor that we will have some entertainment this year. I'll just leave it at that.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, Joe,
we're not talking about Rick.
Rick's guaranteed entertainment.
It won't be Rick.
We want people to come to the rendezvous, not run them off.
Hey, I give away a lot more stuff than any band ever will.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, while we're talking about that, what can you give us maybe a little hint about some cool giveaways that we might be expecting this year?
I will say Midland really stepped up this year. They reached out to us early on and said, "Hey, we want to be part." And I will say that that's the first name that comes to mind when you ask that question, Joey. Is that they reached out early, said, "Hey, we want to be a big part of this, and so we're going to make it happen." And they've been in contact with Randy back and forth quite a bit, and there's going to be some big prizes from them.
That's cool. I love it. Well, everything that you have told us about what to expect is something that I know everybody is looking forward to. We're approaching our 1 hour mark. Do y'all have anything else that you want to share that might be coming up this year that we may have overlooked?
No,
I'll just mention our kids. Oops.
Go ahead, Randy.
I'll just mention our kids real quick. We've got a couple of kids' activities scheduled on the class schedule. We're trying to do more for kids. We started doing kind of a kids area last year that was in the middle of the vendor courtyard, so that kids can kind of play while mom and dad are looking around. We beefed that up this year, and we've got some more games and stuff for the kids to do as well. And so, family friendly is important to us, and we try to pay attention to that where we can.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we've come to the end of the show. I've got all the names in here that my wife put in here, so I'm going to reach in here into the old drawing board and pull out a winner of a registration to the Rendezvous 2021, and the winner is Amy Marler. Amy Marler is the winner. I think from Lady Owned Toyotas.
Yep.
Lady Owned Toyotas. Congratulations, Amy. I know you just commented, so you're on here. We are excited to give you that, and excited that you will be attending with us. I want to remind everybody to go to naturalstateoverland.org to register and to find out all the information. And as Randy mentioned a while ago, if you haven't yet, go and download the app for your phone. Now, can you get that on the App Store and the Google Play Store, Randy? Is that available for both?
It is. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep YAPP, YAPP, and it should come up.
Okay. Awesome. Very cool. Well, make sure that you go and follow these guys on Instagram and at Rendezvous in the Ozarks and Natural State Overland, and also at Natural State Overland on Facebook. Guys, I super appreciate you being here. This has been one fun time, and I really am excited that you all were here. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. Look forward to seeing everybody in a couple weeks.
Remember, October 14th through the 16th at Bird's Adventure Center up around Ozarks, just north of I-40 in the middle of the Ozark National Forest. We would love to see you there. Make sure that you plan to attend, register. They're sitting at already breaking the record for last year. We're not going to give any numbers out. They're going to do that while you're there. But they're already ready and saying that they're going to set new records, and you want to be there to see all the rigs that are pulling in, spend some time around the campfire, meet new friends, and see all the cool stuff, and maybe win something cool that Rick's going to be up there giving away. So I hope you all go to that naturalstateoverland.org and register right now if you have not yet. Congratulations to Amy Marler for winning the free registration. We're excited that y'all came on here. Thank you to everybody that came on and shared the show. I'm the BROfessor, and these are my friends. And this week, make sure that you get out there and enjoy yourself. Get out there and live this life while you still have time. Look out for number 1 and don't step in number 2. We'll see you next week.
Maybe
Thank you for watching.
BROfessor.
BROfessor and Friends.
Sponsored by U.S. Action Tracks, Linson Solar, More Expo, Big Iron Overland Rally, Blue Cell Coffee Roasters, Long Creek Overland Apparel, and our good friends at Artemis Overland Hardware. Thank you for watching.